Hey, this is Knife Standards. Today I'm going to be doing a quick unboxing and first impressions of my second knife from TRM. This is the Holey Nerd. So this is the version of the Nerd with the opening hole. So we'll get into all of that in just a second, but first, please follow me at Knife Standards. You can follow me on Instagram, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for a lot more knife content and weekly knife reviews. All right, cool. So let's go ahead and get this out of the way, and let's see what is in the box. This is my second knife from TRM. I have a Neutron 2 that I got, I don't know, quite a while ago, and I got some new scales for the Neutron 2. Some contoured blue G10, which I've showed you guys. I think I even did a video of the scale swap. Super easy to do on TRM knives because the scales sit like outside of the. You don't need to disassemble the liners or disassemble the knife to get the scales off. That's what I'm trying to say. It's just, ooh, this is tiny. I like this though. It's just these two screws and the scale pops off, and everything is still. It still works. It's still, like put together. It's just without the scales. So then you can put the new scale on and just these two little screws. Super easy. All right, cool. So we got the Nerd. All right, little PSA from TRM. And we got the sticker. Put this stuff to the side. And let's go ahead and get into it. So, I mean, it's tiny. It's actually a little bit smaller than I thought it would be, but it's not like it's a surprise. I mean, I knew it would be a small knife. I think that's the whole point of it. Ooh, okay. I really like this G10. This is very similar to, obviously the G10 that is on my Neutron 2, but it's actually similar to this G10. It's not quite as nice, but it's very close. This kind of, I don't know what the process is, what they do to it, but if it's sanded or smoothed out, but I really like the texture. Also very similar to, where are they? Too far to reach, but very similar to the, what's it called? Skaha, the North Arm Skaha G10. It's kind of this contoured, is it contoured? Yeah, I mean, it's pretty rounded and smooth and kind of sanded down or smoothed out, which I really appreciate, really like. I got it in gray G10, the first drop, which I totally missed. I wanted the blue G10 one, but the cool thing about TRM knives, you can always get replacement scales down the road. They also have titanium scales coming for this, which I'm like, ooh, I'm pretty tempted. I don't know. That would be pretty epic. Titanium Nerd. Anyway, let's go ahead and let's give it a flick. It is tiny, but it feels okay in my hand. All right. that was a little underwhelming, but oh, you know what? It just feels like it's really kind of gritty, or maybe maybe over tightened a little bit. It is Inset liner lock. So just the part that actually locks up is, sticking out. This allows you to access just that little section and not the whole liner. The whole liner's not moving to the side, sticking out, which for me is a little, oh, it sounds so gritty. All right, that worked. You know what? Let's get a drop of oil on this guy before I judge this knife too harshly. Got my nano oil. Let's go ahead and we're just gonna do a drop on the. I don't know. I've done this a couple times in unboxings, but this might be kind of tough to get in there. Just getting a drop. I don't know if you guys can see that, but I'm just getting a drop in there. I'm gonna see if that actually got a little bit on the scale, so I'm just gonna wipe that off. it bugs me to no end if I get the grease or the oil or anything like all over the scales, all over my hands. Not a fan of that. So let's go ahead and see. Trying to work that in a little bit. I just put a really kind of small drop. Let me go ahead and just put a tiny bit more. Try and keep this. Oh, that's a lot. Maybe that's a little too much. I'm gonna wipe that off really quick. All right, cool. So just gonna get a little bit more in there. It's actually really tough to kind of get in. There you go. All right, I got it. It's very, very slim knife, very skinny, tough to get in there. And of course, I got a little bit more on the scale. I'm kind of OCD about that. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and see what's going on with it now. And if this doesn't do it, I might just loosen the pivot a tiny bit. It just sounds kind of crunchy. All right. Oh man, you know what? I saw another review of this, or another unboxing or overview or whatever it was, and the same thing was happening. It's just like, feels like it's over. Man, that's kind of a bummer. This is not a problem that, you know, it's not unfixable. Let's see. Okay, maybe it's the angle. Sometimes with the ones with the holes, you know, for example, the Asher that I had, you have to kind of get the feel for it and get it right. Okay. Let's see, no blade play, so it's pretty locked down. I might try and just loosen in the pivot just a touch. All right, it's actually getting a little bit better. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and get this Q-tip out of the way. Put that to the side. Where is my, oh yeah. I'm gonna put this little cap on the nano oil and get that set aside so I don't get oil all over the place. All right, so let's talk about the knife now that the action is slightly better. Design-wise, I think it's really cool. We have this kind of sheep's foot, reverse tanto-ish, you know, kind of this hybrid. I like it a lot. Blade shape is awesome. On the previous version of this knife, there was no opening hole, and the TRM logo, which is kind of lasered on right there, was actually where the hole was. So it was this kind of indented logo that you could flick. I never handled one, so I don't know how easy or hard it was to flick, but you know, customer feedback, they wanted the hole. There you go. So these were in production, I guess prototyping? I don't know. They were in the lab for a while and they finally worked out the hole and the design. Lockup is pretty solid. Gray G10, 20 CV. TRM always does pretty solid edges. Let's see, I have like a little tiny, like a little scrap of paper. This is good for my tiny nerd. Yeah, it's pretty damn sharp. Pretty damn sharp. All right, so let me get that scrap paper out of the way. I got this knife because it felt like, oh, that was already way better. Maybe they just didn't oil it. I don't know. It's still a little bit crunchy, but nothing crazy. We got a deep carry pocket clip. Kind of bugs me that they don't, you know, they do mill out a section for the back side of the clip to kind of sit on there, but the screws still stick up. So that kind of bugs me. The clip is fine. I don't need it to be deep carry, but it's fine. Oh, much better. All right. Much better. Way better. Wow. Okay. So it just needed some oil. I might still try and experiment and loosen the pivot just a tiny bit and see if there's any play or see what the deal is. But wow, apparently this just needed a little bit of oil. Ergos are interesting. Man, they should do a large, I was about to say they should do a large nerd, but I think that's kind of what the Shadow is. You know, it's very similar. I haven't handled the shadow, but just from looking at it, looking at videos and pictures, it has a similar shape and a similar blade shape and the choils. And so, I don't know, maybe this is, it's just tiny, and my hands aren't like giant, you know, my hands are on the smaller side, but even when I choke up, my finger doesn't quite land where it's supposed to. I mean, I don't know. For a box cutter, man, this thing would just rock it. It's tiny, it's maneuverable, definitely a controlled close. I'm 99% sure, yeah, this is on washers. So that's part of the reason for that kind of slow, controlled close. Also, sometimes washers just need a little bit of break-in time. And once they kind of smoothed out, then get some better action in here. But of course, washer knives generally, most of the time, are not, that was nice, sorry, are not as smooth or, no, they don't have, that was pretty nice. They don't have as good of action as knives on bearings, but of course there are positives, upsides, downsides to knives with washers and knives with bearings. Ones with washers are easier to clean. If you get sand or something in the bearings, you're kind of screwed. Washers are, you know, people say they're smoother, but it just feels like a more controlled opening and a more controlled close, where something on bearings is, you know, might rock it open and then drop shut. Might do like a washer bearing comparison. I'm a fan of both, actually. I think they both have their places. I'm not, if I had to pick, I don't know, it's tough. But let's see, what do I have here? Yeah, so this is washers. And it's fine. I mean, it just suffers a little bit in the action department. Not terribly, but you know, just not quite as, not really what you expect for like really good knife action. I think when people think of, oh man, that knife has such good action, they're thinking of bearings. Anyway, not to get sidetracked. D10 is nice. It's just, no, that was fine. It's just a small knife, and it came what felt like bone dry and just a little crunchy, and now it's starting to smooth out. I think overall this is a cool knife. This is something I can see myself carrying with other knives. If I have, you know, for example, this guy in my pocket, I can see myself having this in my fifth pocket or in my back pocket, you know, kind of a secondary carry, which I don't always do, but because this has not left my pocket, I've kind of had to do a double carry. So one thing I do like about this knife, just, you know, from the 10 minutes that I spent with it, is you can do kind of a slow roll really easily. And there's no, like just how it kind of sits in my hand is a little bit awkward, but the slow roll works. Interesting. All right, well, I'm glad I got this guy. I'm definitely gonna get it in the pocket and see what it's all about, see how it carries. And I can smell the nano oil. Ugh, it's like the worst. If you don't know, it is the worst smell ever. I'm gonna loosen the pivot a tiny bit, experiment a little bit with this. That was nice. And I'll be back with a full review. Forgot to mention stonewash on the blade. That's TRM's thing. I think that just about wraps it up. Boom. I will go ahead and get this in the pocket, and I will be back with my full review. Thank you guys so much for watching. This has been Knife Standards. I will catch you later.